Doctors are not the only ones who lament that the government is not doing its fair share of their work. Nurses and other healthcare workers have been seen decrying that they have been neglected and have blamed the government for the deaths of their colleagues.
Welcome to Newswatch this 14th of August 2020. We do apologize for that technical hitch we had earlier. And now doctors in Nairobi County have issued a 7-day strike notice to the Nairobi Metropolitan Service over what they say is neglect and failure to pay doctors their salaries. The doctors under the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union, KMPDU, say they will now down their tools if the government does not meet their demands. Grace Ongoi has the report.
Doctors are not martyrs. We are not martyrs. We are not children of a lesser God. We are equal humans who should be treated as is.
Doctors in Nairobi County have vowed to down their tools in the next 7 days unless the government addresses their plight and better their deplorable working conditions. The doctors under the umbrella body of Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union, KMPDU, claim the government is not appreciative of their work as frontline healthcare workers and have not acted to step in and ensure they are well taken care of, even as they take care of Kenyans. In their monthly presses, the doctors have not failed to mention that the promise of a medical cover is long overdue and they are no longer able to afford the services they render to patients when they need them.
We have seen doctors dying. Dr. Lugaliki died. We also have a pulmonologist in Kenyatta who has also died. We are not going to die anymore. Because at the end of the day, we are also somebody's brother, sister, daughter, father or mother. So until the government puts its act on order, the saddest one is the Nairobi County mess, whereby it's just politics of two levels of government. NMS on one side, Nairobi County on the other side, and the poor doctor, nurse, the poor healthcare worker is the one who ends up suffering, bearing the burden. For the last 2 months, doctors working within the Nairobi City County government have not had a medical cover. Essentially what I'm saying is that we cannot be able to afford the service that we offer. So I've been forced, whenever we contract COVID or become sick, to contribute amongst ourselves to sort out our medical problems.
According to the Employment Act of 2007, employers must provide payment for work done before or on the agreed payday. The doctors are, however, complaining that some doctors have not received their pay for over 2 years, and for the rest of them, they are awaiting their July payments, a sorry situation that has left most of them unmotivated and unable to meet the cost of their daily needs. The situation is not only true for workers in Nairobi County, but other counties like Embu, Nakuru, and Nyamira, among others, have also had a difficult time in getting their pay.
Can you imagine staying in this town, working every day on a pandemic, and then you don't have your salary on time? Not like we carry our name tags and job cards to pay rent. We also have needs. So as much as KMPDU, we have tried to minimize issuing threats against the government during this pandemic. We have pushed the wall. And as the national office, we are assuring the government that if they continue with the games, the chicanery, we will call for a national strike.
Doctors are not the only ones who lament that the government is not doing its fair share of their work. Nurses and other healthcare workers have been seen decrying that they have been neglected and have blamed the government for the deaths of their colleagues. A few weeks ago, a 32-year-old nurse, Marian Awor, lost her life with the Kenya National Nurses Association, blaming the deaths of the 3 nurses at the time of the presser of inadequate and poor quality protective equipment, which gives the nurses a false sense of protection.
It's very, very unfortunate, if not evil, that some procurement officers are still procuring substandard PPEs and are giving them the healthcare professionals. We have said before that you'd rather not, as a healthcare professional, not don any PPE at all than don a substandard PPE.
Addressing the media on Friday, doctors have raised the same concern of poor quality PPEs and are now calling on the government to step up.
Part of it is the reason why we have more than 10 doctors who have contracted COVID.
Grace Wangoi, Hope TV Newswatch, Nairobi.
And former Makadara Member of Parliament Benson Mutura has been sworn in as the new Speaker of the Nairobi County Assembly after he was elected in a hotly contested election today. Mutura has garnered 99 of 123 votes from House members. The vote took place via Zoom due to measures taken to prevent the spread of COVID-19. The acting Assembly Speaker, John Kamangu, declared Benson Mutura as winner after attaining more than the required two-thirds majority votes. Patrobo Juang has the report.
I, Benson Mutura Kangara.
Former Makadara Member of Parliament has been declared the new Nairobi County Assembly Speaker a few days after former Speaker Beatrice Elachi's resignation. Mutura, who was fronted by the Jubilee Party, which is the majority party in the County Assembly, garnered 99 out of 122 votes in the first round, attaining more than the required two-thirds majority votes.
Having been elected the Speaker of the County Assembly of Nairobi City, do swear in the name of the Almighty God, that I shall always and diligently serve the people and the Republic of Kenya in the office of the Speaker of the County Assembly of Nairobi.
Benson Mutura Kangara, votes garnered is 99.
The vote, which was held Friday via Zoom due to measures taken to prevent the spread of coronavirus, saw Mutura defeat 5 other candidates in the race to succeed Elachi, who resigned on Tuesday, citing threats to her life.
I shall respect, uphold, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, and that I shall do right to all manners of persons in accordance with the Constitution and the laws and the Convention of Parliament without fear, favor, affection, or ill will.
Mutura further took the oath of office after winning the election and pledged to serve all MCAs equally and urged them to support his office. He thanked President Uhuru Kenyatta, the Jubilee Party, and the opposition for having faith in him and promised to be a servant for all and to embrace divergent views in an assembly that has been facing frequent leadership wrangles.
Dr. Odingo Odhiambo, Washington, 0.
6 candidates from the earlier list of 7 that had been shortlisted battled it out for the chance to lead city MCAs in the assembly after former Speaker Alex Ole Magelo withdrew from the race to support Mutura. The new speaker later adjourned sittings to September 8th after taking over from acting Speaker John Kamangu, who is also the deputy speaker.
So help me God.
Patrobo Juang, Hope TV Newswatch.
Now to COVID-19 situation in the country has recorded 580 new COVID-19 cases from a sample size of 5,458 tested in the last 24 hours. Addressing the press at Afya House, Health CS Dr. Mercy Mwangangi said out of the positive cases, 530 are Kenyans while 50 are foreigners. At the same time, 198 patients have recovered from the deadly virus, bringing the total number of recoveries to 15,298. Mark Kimondo tells us more.
Healthcare workers rely on personal protective equipment to protect themselves from being infected and infecting others with COVID-19. Over 10 healthcare workers have succumbed to the virus since the first case was announced in March this year. This is suspected to have been attributed to the limited access to supplies of personal protective equipment such as gloves, medical masks, among others. The Ministry of Health has confirmed that it is working on the further distribution of personal protective equipment to healthcare workers in the country. Different organizations fighting for the rights of healthcare workers in the country have also been urging both the national and county governments to move with speed and ensure healthcare workers have adequate quality PPEs.
Regarding the PPEs, we continue to ensure that our healthcare workers have the right PPEs. We have, in fact, and KEFA will bears witness and provide more information, initiated a fourth round of distribution of PPEs. And so the healthcare workers should remain confident that they will get the PPEs that they need. Additionally, we've put in place mechanisms and we continue to encourage each and every healthcare worker, should you come across a PPE that you feel is defective in any manner, our doors are always open. My door is always open.
The Ministry of Health and the Nairobi Metropolitan Service has come up with a special isolation and treatment facility for healthcare workers in Nairobi. The new facility will offer both critical care and basic care services to healthcare workers at the government cost.
Regarding the issue of ensuring that doctors have isolation facilities, quarantine facilities, we continue to partner with NMS as national government, and that facility is available. The facility actually has occupancy that can be taken should any healthcare worker require it. And this facility is available at Kenyatta National Hospital, but also at Royal Tulip Hotel. And it's available for all doctors.
With the virus claiming lives of the frontline workers in the country, the government is negotiating with NHIF to ensure that all healthcare workers are covered by the National Hospital Insurance Fund. In today's country's COVID-19 infections, the total number rose to 29,334 after 580 more people tested positive for the virus. 198 people were reported to have recovered from the virus, with 119 being from the home-based care, while 79 were discharged from various health facilities. 5 people succumbed to the deadly virus, taking the country's COVID-19 fatalities to 465. Nairobi County recorded the highest at 375, followed by Kiambu with 53, Machakos 23, Busia 17, with Mombasa and Nakuru recording 15 each.
And so in this regard, the Ministry of Health, together with other health sector stakeholders, and in line with the IHR guiding framework for communication, has continued to disseminate health information through various media, including print, electronic, in order to give you guidelines on how to reduce the transmission of COVID-19.
Meanwhile, over 2,000 healthcare workers have been promoted today, with the government working on its budget to ensure healthcare workers across the country receive their promotion. Mark Kimundo, Newswatch.
Away from that, former Raila Odinga's political strategist and Kibra by-election parliamentary aspirant Eliud Owalo has resigned from the Amani National Congress ANC party, dealing a major blow to Musalia Mudavadi-led party. His resignation comes 2 days after the party's Secretary General Barack Muluka wrote to Mudavadi confirming his resignation, with the two saying they have opted to give Mudavadi space as he seeks to vie for presidency in 2022. Dickens Luvanda has the story.
The Amani National Congress ANC party is undoubtedly going through turbulent times, despite assurance by the party's deputy leader Lugari MP Ayub Savula that all is well.
We wish to reassure our party supporters across the country that in spite of Muluka's exit, the party remains strong and focused on propelling Honorable Musalia to the presidency during the 2022 general election.
2 days after the resignation of the party's Secretary General Barack Muluka, ANC has suffered yet another blow after one of its bright political minds, Eliud Owalo, called it quits. Owalo, who has been a member of the Musalia Mudavadi-led political outfit, wrote to his party boss and the registrar of political parties, saying he feels it is imperative to create an ample space within the party to allow Mudavadi space to craft his 2022 team. Mudavadi, with his ANC team, put up a spirited fight against ODM's Imran Okoth by backing Owalo for the Kibra parliamentary by-election in late 2019, following the demise of Ken Okoth. Owalo later lost in the election.
You remember that from the very onset.
Before joining the ANC party, where he was a political strategist, Owalo resigned from the Orange Democratic Movement Party, which means that he cannot go back to the Raila Odinga-led party.
Chini ya uongozi wangu.
Dickens Luvanda, Hope TV Newswatch.
Meanwhile, ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi has today been sworn in as the ANC party leader under the new party's constitution unveiled today. Mudavadi will serve for a period of 5 years as the party leader Under the new constitution, the party leader becomes the automatic chair of the National Delegates Congress, NDC, and also the chair of the Amani National Council. The Amani Council's key role will be to promote, monitor, and keep under constant review the implementation of the policies and programs of ANC. At the same time, the party has inaugurated an elections board that will now oversee the election of a new Secretary General after the exit of Muluka.
Whether news is good or bad, one thing that has come out clearly, every other day you will find there's a story about ANC in the papers. That is significant, because if we were just like that, kama tungekuwa watu wa maana, nobody would even bother about us. But the fact that every other day there's an article somewhere, either they are criticizing ANC, either they are trying to demoralize ANC, either they are praising ANC, either they are saying something about ANC. That is the message. And I also want to encourage you to become spokesmen in your branches. So it is going to be a very, very serious institution within the framework of the ANC constitution. So be strong, knowing that the challenges are going to be many. And equally, there'll be temptations. But don't falter, don't waver. Let us all be strong. I will take some time, consult, and then when it is appropriate, I will give indication that now we have the two names to be brought to the Amani National Council for consideration, and then now we can formally elect our new Secretary General.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i says the national government will continue providing the Nairobi Metropolitan Service with the necessary support towards achieving optimum service delivery for city residents. Matiang'i has said the ministry, through its NGOs structure, will sustain solid collaboration with NMS as it carries out its mandate. Speaking after a meeting with national government administrators from Nairobi region at the Kasarani Sports Complex, the Cabinet Secretary prescribed institutional collaboration in development projects, infrastructure upgrade, and environmental management.
This meeting was to bring the national government administrators in the same room so that they are given matching orders as we start the new financial year, and derive a framework and mechanisms of how to work together with the Nairobi Metropolitan Services so that we can be able to deliver service to the Nairobi citizens.
It has been a very fruitful day where we have met with the administration and the local security leadership, where we are now going to work towards making Nairobi County a better county.
We got all the national government administrators in Nairobi, from assistant chiefs to the regional commissioner here, to have a meeting and agree on how we are going to work together to support the Nairobi Metropolitan Services to achieve its objectives. And secondly also, to ensure that we build the necessary administrative synergies to deliver for the people of Nairobi. Keep the capital city of our country safe, keep it clean, and ensure that it's orderly.
And with that story, let's take a short commercial break on News Watch. We'll be back with more stories lined up for you. Keep it Hope TV.
Welcome to Rafiki Gardens along Kangondo Road by Optiven. This is an ideal and affordable piece of investment that is strategically placed within the Nairobi metropolis. Rafiki Gardens is close to key social amenities like schools, banks, and shopping malls. This project comes with ready title deeds, Maram roads, and a marking fence round the property. Get a plot at only 695,000 Kenya shillings cash price. You can also pay a 50% deposit and pay the rest in 6 months installments. Call us today on 0702 8310 83 or visit www.optiven.co.ke.
Join us every Sunday for unlimited, uplifting, powerful worship. Only on Extended Worship.
Welcome back to the broadcast. You're watching Hope TV Newswatch. Now, the Board of Directors of the Kenya Medical Supplies Agency, KEMSA, has suspended 3 top officials, including KEMSA CEO Dr. Jonah Manjari. The 2 other officials are Commercial Director Eliud Murithi and the Procurement Director Charles Juma. The suspension, according to the board, will pave way for an in-depth investigation on allegations of money laundering and misuse of COVID-19 funds at the agency. In the meantime, Edward Njoroge, the Operations Director, has been appointed as Acting Chief Executive Officer, while Edward Buluma and Dr. George Walikana will be the Acting Procurement and Commercial Directors, respectively. The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission is investigating the officials over a controversial 7.7 billion shilling tender for the emergency procurement of COVID-19 personal protective equipment that was to be delivered by July 22nd, 2020. Elsewhere, chaos rocked Bomet County Assembly on Friday morning during the election of the new Speaker to replace former Speaker Shadrack Rotich, who was nominated late 2019 to deputize Governor Hilary Barachok following the demise of former Governor Joyce Laboso. Chaos marred the Assembly after Mbomo's ward MCA Robert Sirbai grabbed the mace and attempted to flee with it. Moments after the acting Speaker Wesley Kiprotich was presiding over the election session, announced the winner. Sirbai, who wanted a speaker to be elected from Konowin sub-county over what he said is marginalization of the region in terms of leadership positions, had claimed that fellow members were bribed to vote for a candidate. The acting speaker later declared Nelson Kipkurui Mutai as the winner of the election, trouncing 6 other candidates. Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta has launched an ambitious campaign that aims to restore Nairobi's green spaces. Speaking during the launch of refurbished John Mishuki Memorial Park in Nairobi, President Uhuru said the Cleaning Kenya campaign, which will be piloted in Nairobi County, will kick off on the 1st of September this year. The campaign will be coordinated by the Ministry of Interior and that of Environment and will be anchored on national government administration officials who will be required to work together with local communities in the conservation and management of the environment.
Indeed, the late Honorable John Michuki, in his own words, said, and I quote, "A nation that ignores its environment has no future," end of quote. And what he meant is that the future is not in the concrete spaces, the future is in the green spaces bequeathed to us by nature and God. Today I'm pleased to announce that we are launching a national campaign to mobilize citizens, business, industry, labor and civil society towards a common goal, a goal of cleaning up Kenya. The Cleaning Up Kenya campaign shall be piloted here in Nairobi City County, commencing on the 1st of September this year. The campaign shall be anchored on the national government administration officers at the local level, who shall work together with the local communities and with stakeholders, both within and outside government, to enhance environmental restoration, conservation, and management. The campaign of Cleaning Up Kenya fits well with the ongoing Kazi Mtaani program, a program for whom we have already set aside 10 billion. And this new Cleaning Up Kenya campaign shall complement the efforts being made within the Kazi Mtaani program towards the improvement of environmental and sanitation conditions at the grassroots levels.
Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha has defended community teaching that the ministry has been fronting as schools anticipate the reopening of schools during the COVID-19 phased reopening of the country. Speaking in Eldoret during an inspection tour of education institutions ahead of their reopening, Magoha castigated aspersions on community learning, saying they were regrettable. Professor Magoha further said only bona fide teachers in schools' boards of management will be paid, adding that his ministry will continue verifying the correct number of the BOM teachers before disbursing the funds as directed by the President.
We have inspected two of the most excellent compared to others. Eldoret Poly and the Rift Valley Poly are two of the best. But they are also not completely ready to reopen. But I can dare say that they are going to reopen ahead of others. If they can assure us clearly that the trajectory they have taken is a continuous one, we shall look at them again in about a month and decide. I would like to say that the leadership I've found in this particular institution is the kind of leadership that we require in our institutions. I have been, I didn't tell you to clap that. I've been to other national polytechnics, and even the concrete slabs are not there. They do it kienyeji and put lines across. What a shame. And I'm glad that now, as I span out with my team to continue to inspect, we are going to insist that the standards we have found in these two institutions are replicated elsewhere. And that is without prejudice.
And Game Member of Parliament Elisha Odhiambo has challenged the government to take action against companies suspected to have benefited from COVID-19 funds through illegal deals. Odhiambo said several companies that have engaged in fishy deals have hidden details of their directors and asked relevant authorities to uncover the hidden names. Odhiambo was speaking to the media at Sinaga Girls in Game during a leaders' meeting.
And what we have insisted on the energy as they do their budgets, that the 10% of the budget, they must factor an indicator that they can deal with the COVID pandemic that exists in the country. But as per the money that have been sent to counties, I saw a list of a number of companies that were awarded the contract to supply items. What I can say, I think the government must do their work. If those are briefcase companies, because I saw two companies from Siaya County that had no indication who the directors were in Nairobi, I think the government needs to move swift. The government machinery knows what they need to do and be able to authenticate and verify the authenticity of those directors of those companies, because we don't want a country that is run by briefcase companies.
And the tarmacking of 18.4 billion shilling Kitui-Kibwezi Road is on schedule despite land compensation row at the Kitui Town bypass. This is according to Kitui County Commissioner John Ondego, who said the contractor Sino Hydro Corporation is working round the clock to ensure completion of the major road project by February 2021. He assured landowners affected by the Wikilili-Siongila bypass that the government was working swiftly to ensure due compensation for their plots of land on which the contractor has already begun road works.
Come February next year, he'll be handing over the road if everything remains constant. And that is the schedule. So the contractor is on schedule. The only hitch which we still have is the issues of land compensation, which is still pending. But I want to assure the owners that they will be compensated, because already the land has been gazetted and valued, and the contractor has entered the site. So I want to thank the people who have allowed the contractor to enter the site, especially on the bypass, which is about 6 kilometers.
Okay, let's take another short break on News Watch. Business News is coming up next.
Events, news, Africa, the world, our past, our future. Catch all this and more on Africa's Moment with Pete Ondeng.
Is there really a future of hope for Africa? To believe or not to believe, that is the question. Who holds the key to Africa's escape from the dungeons of poverty and backwardness?
Every Wednesday, right here on Hope TV at 8 p.m.
Welcome back. Now, there's recovery in the recruitment of new staff in different sectors of the economy as the country reels from the COVID-19 pandemic. The absorption rate into new jobs in the country currently stands at 75%, with employers now seeking to hire on the basis of skills, subjecting job seekers to competitive recruitment process as corporates and companies seek to rejuvenate their workforce post-COVID-19. Joe Jesse speaks to Pansy Wanjiku, the Brighter Monday marketing manager, and sheds more light on this.
In the current months, we've seen that we are actually slowly getting back to where we normally are.
As the country's workforce get back to its feet to relieve a booming economy, employers are now careful to absorb a workforce that is skillful to their need. According to Pansy Wanjiku,
the skills that we're looking for,
the marketing manager of Brighter Monday, one of the leading recruitment websites in the country, recruitment managers are now adopting skill assessment tools to sift through tons of job applications as Kenyans dust themselves to seek new jobs following huge job losses hemorrhage due to the COVID-19.
But with this tool, job seekers are able to get the jobs on merit based on their skills. So I think a job seeker would, if I was a job seeker, I would want to take this test so that my skills are very evident from the word go, so that even when somebody is calling me for an interview, they know where my strengths are. But if you take the skills assessment, you are going to get a job based on the skills, and it's easier for you to maneuver like in the job.
With compilation of public data showing that at least 1 million Kenyans have lost their jobs or have been put on indefinite unpaid leave due to the COVID-19, it will now take job seekers more than just a CV to land a preferable job in the fast-changing dynamics in the recruitment process in the country.
We're looking at a job market that by 2023 will have 50% of the people, the workforce, as millennials, right? But that doesn't mean that we don't have other age groups or any other category in the job market. We have those. So what we've done is we've factored in all these categories of the people in the workforce, and we've had tests done on the tool by these other age groups.
The assessment tool that has now been incorporated by Brighter Monday and widely used by international corporates tests for core competencies and hard skills required for a specific role cutting down the tons of application to select candidates with the right skill for the job to be done.
If you do not qualify for a job, this report, the report that you get from the tool, it shows you what skill set gap there is for you, right? It shows you what you don't have, what you need to improve, and it shows you what people in the market are looking at and you don't have, so that you can improve yourself.
According to Pansy Wanjiku, the assessment tool is an added advantage to both job seekers and employers, as it gives job seekers the ability to bridge the gap in the competency and reducing employers' time getting the suitable candidate without qualified candidates falling through the cracks. Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Joe Jesse.
Now, motorists in the country will now be forced to spend more after fuel prices increased yet again for the third month running. The Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, EPRA, announced that a litre of super petrol will increase by 3.47 shillings, while diesel and kerosene will increase by 2.76 shillings and 18 shillings respectively. Super petrol, diesel and kerosene will now retail at 103.95 shillings, 94.63 shillings and 83.65 shillings respectively, beginning midnight. Kerosene users will meanwhile see the steepest jump in costs at 18.20, with the price of the commodity having barely changed in July when no imports were registered. The EPRA has attributed the wholesome rise in costs to an increase in price of fuel imports in the last month. And that story wraps it up for us on Newswatch tonight. Many thanks for staying with us. My name is Tonny Omondi, and our sign language interpreter has been Fiona Mweresa. Have a blessed weekend.